Hi Year 2s, welcome to your spelling today. It's Monday, first day of our week, and today we're going to start our phonics by reminding ourselves of our tricky words, okay? So we're going to be thinking of spelling strategies or things we can try and help remember how to spell those tricky words. Now, what do I mean by a tricky word, I wonder? Have a little think. What is it that I mean? Maybe you could talk to somebody at home. What do I mean when I say a tricky word? Well, a tricky word is one of those words that has unusual graphemes representing the sounds that we hear. These are graphemes we don't usually use when we are writing that sound, or letters we don't usually use when we're writing that sound. Let's start by having a look at the tricky word together. Here, I'm going to write a word, and I wonder if you could read out loud for me what word you can see. That's right, it says said. This is the tricky word, said. Now, in a tricky word, there are parts of the word that are represented with graphemes that make sense, with letters that make sense. But there are some parts where the letters we see don't quite match the sounds we can hear. That's the tricky part. Let's sound talk said. Let's say it out loud together. S-E-D, said. As you sound talk it again with me, I'm going to add some sound buttons. S-E-D, said. Now, if I were to look at the word said, there are some parts in this word that make sense. There are some easy parts of the word, and then there's some more challenging parts of the word. So as we go through and have a look, in said, the letter S does usually make a S sound. This is an easy part of the word. The letter D does usually make a D sound. So this is an easy part of the word. But this bit here, this is making the E sound. Now I know that usually the A and the I work together to make the A sound, not the S sound. This is a tricky part of the word. This is the bit that makes it a tricky word to spell. So when we're talking about tricky words, we mean words that have a little bit in it that is hard to spell because it's using an unusual grapheme to spell the phoneme, the sounds that we can hear. Now, we have to learn how to spell these tricky words. This is what we have to do when we're in Year 2 so that we can write them easily. And these tricky words are usually words we write quite a lot. So it's important we can spell them easily and quickly. We just have to learn them off by heart. Now, to do that, we can use some different spelling strategies to help us. So today, I have linked some different ideas for how you could practice spelling these words for you to have a go at. Now, I'm going to use the word said today. Let's pretend this is a word that I do find tricky to spell. I know I often spell it incorrectly, and when Miss Pope marks my work, this is one that I often have to practice. There's no point me practicing a word I know I can already spell. So I'm going to show you a couple of the ideas or a couple of the ways you could practice spelling this, okay? And these are some of the ideas that are linked on today's assignment, but you might find some other ones that I don't mention today. There's quite a lot on there that you'd also like to try. So I need to learn how to spell the word said. One of the methods I could use is to try and write this word over and over again. That is a simple way to have a go. I could write it 3 times. So I could write said once. I could write said another time. I could write it another time. And I'm hoping the more I'm practicing, the more I'm seeing it as I'm writing it, the more my brain is going to learn it. That means then if I were to cover it up and try and write it again, I should be able to spell it correctly. So if I hide it away now that I've had a go at writing it many times, I should be able to spell it correctly without seeing it. Oh, I remember what my brain saw. Said. Fantastic. I can now spell the word said. But that might not be the best strategy to use for learning how to spell this word. Another method we can use for spelling our words is the pyramid method. I'm going to show you what that looks like now. Again, I'm going to use the word said, but you might be using a different word like because or people or thought. Some of those words that are a little bit trickier. I'm using one that we can all spell for now, just so you can see what some of these methods looks like. The pyramid method is where we start at the top of a pyramid. They're usually triangular in shape, and we start the word with only the first letter of the word. In said, the first letter is an S. Then, in the next part of the pyramid, we only use 2 letters from the word, the first one and the second one. Well, in said, the first letter is S and the second letter is A. Then, how many letters do you think I'm going to use for the next layer? That's right, I'm now going to use 3 letters. So I've got my S, my A, and my I. How many am I going to use now? Yes, 4 letters. Could you say them with me? Which letters am I going to write? S, A, I, D. So this is my pyramid method. You will notice that it looks like a big triangle because now I have spelt my complete word at the bottom. So the more I practice using it this way, the more I'm remembering the letters that are in the word initially. Obviously, your pyramid will be bigger depending on how many letters are in your word. So this is a second method we could use for learning how to spell the word said. It's becoming less tricky already. I'm going to show you one more method today before you're going to have a go at using either some of the methods I've shown you or some of the ones that are attached to the assignment today. And the one I'm going to use is using different colours. I'm going to write my word using different colour pens for each of the letters. Doesn't make it any less hard or any less tricky. It just makes it more fun. And usually when we're having more fun with something, we're more likely to remember it because it's more interesting. When we're bored, our brains are less likely to remember what it is that we've done. So I'm going to write my S in red, my A in blue. I think I will do my I in green and my D in pink. So I'm just using different colours to write my words. I could also have a go at writing my letters in unusual ways. Maybe I want to use bubble writing to spell my word in different colours. I might want to use some zigzag letters that look like my word S-A. I might want to use some wiggly letters to write my word. So I'm still looking like an S-A-I, but I'm writing them in different ways. And then maybe for my letter D, I might put a smiley face inside. It looks like a person. So I'm playing about and making my spelling more fun by using different colours and different shapes, but this does look like the word said. I can see still that I have the S-E-D word on the board. Now that I've had fun with practicing my spelling, hopefully I'm going to have remembered it. So you're going to have a look at the tricky words that are attached to today's assignment. Phase 2 to 5 tricky words. These are all the words we have to know how to spell when we're in year 2. Find the ones that you know you often find tricky to remember, and then have a go at practicing spelling them. If you're not sure which ones you find tricky to remember, maybe you could do a spelling test at the beginning and somebody at home could find the ones that you are finding tricky so that you know you're not practicing spellings you can already do. Could you then send a picture to me of some of your learning, maybe you doing some of the activities so I can see that you've had a go at today's challenge? So, practicing your tricky words. I look forward to seeing what you've been up to, and then I'll see you tomorrow when we'll do some more phonics. Have fun, year 2s. Bye-bye.